Welcome back to my channel, and today it's Wax Wednesday. You guys have been asking me to do a video on how I chop my candles, my loaves, and my larger shapes for quite some time. So with that said, if that interests you, definitely stick around. So before we actually get into the clips of me chopping and answering your questions, I am going to tell you what you see on my nails. I'm going to tell you what that is. It's from Essie. It's the color Smokin' Hot. It's an awesome, like really dark gray purple. I love it for this time of year, and that is what's on my nails and throughout this video. So again, before we go into the clips, thank you guys so much for joining me. And if you don't already know, Nelson and I do have our own travel channel. I will put that information across here and on the bottom in the description bar as well. Definitely come on over if you guys like to see what we do, what we get up to, all the trouble we are in, all that fun stuff. Okay, so without further ado, let's just go right into the video. All right, you guys, here we are in my kitchen next to the sink. Don't mind the dripping noise. It's actually not the sink. It's a big filter, water filter thing we have. So if you can hear that, my apologies. Today we have a few different items to chop. We have this really big heart, which is going to be part of my my Valentine's week in the low-buy group. This is from the Bathing Garden in Queen of Hearts. So we're going to be chopping that one up. We'll do that one first. Then we have three loaves. This one here is Sweeney's Barbershop. This is the loaf here. We're going to be cutting that one up from Vintage Chic Scents. And then the next two are from Destination Wax. This one is in Vanilla Lace. This is also my project, part of the low-buy collab, low-buy collab. And 1 week we're doing like just melting our loaves, which I don't have that many. And the next week is like all the like Valentine's Day stuff. So like pink and red. And I thought the heart would be perfect. The last loaf I have is Destination Wax Moon Spice Cookie. If you haven't tried this one, you guys need to. So I am actually going to show you exactly what I do, how many seconds I microwave this, but I'll also link a couple other videos above throughout this video too, that I've done other chopping videos, mostly of candles, so that you guys can take a look at that as well. My mood changes, so I might microwave it a little bit longer depending on how it cuts. It is the middle of winter at this point, so it kind of depends on how this wax feels. We also have two other items that we'll be chopping today. They're both candles. They are from Bath & Body Works. We've got the Pure Wonder, and we have what was left of my coconut cream pie candle. I ended up blowing this one out in the summer and freezing the rest of it. There was probably only about this much left because it started turning kerosene on me, and I really love coconut. So I tried to salvage it. It's been in the freezer since summer. So anyway, I thought until I do the next video, I will pull this out and I will chop it up. So I'll show you guys all about how I do that. So along with chopping all of these things up, I asked you guys for some questions, and man, did you guys definitely deliver. There's a lot of repeats and questions, and anything that was a little bit drama related, I kind of staying away from. There was just one question that I just felt like I don't really have it. I don't care. I don't care enough to bring it up. I know other people are passionate about it, but whatever. You can go to my community page and take a look and see what I'm talking about. But anyway, so while I'm cutting these up, I'm actually going to be talking to you guys and answering your questions that you had for me. But before we get started actually chopping, I wanted to show you kind of all the things that I have laid out here. Of course, I have the wax to cut, but underneath here, per chunk, like per loaf or per heart in this situation, or the candles themselves, I like to put one paper towel under for the whole thing. Now, I don't have to. I just do it for the cleanliness, the ease of taking it to the microwave and bringing it back. And underneath, you'll see that there's some paper here. This is wax paper. I just use wax paper just as a protectant, again, just so I don't have so much cleaning to do because I'm lazy. So yes, it might be a bit much, but I don't do this often, maybe 2 to 3 times a year, so I don't feel so bad. So again, we have paper, we have the wax, we have the paper towel, we have the wax paper, and then I have 2 different styles of cutters. These are actually soap cutters, you guys can probably tell. I don't really clean them because it is just for wax, or I'll tell you something else I use them for. So this is a small wax cutter here. It was gifted to me. Now it's perfect for the really small melts, which I don't have this particular chopping to do, but the small pieces that I just need to cut up into 4s, like Vintage Chic Scents sizes, I like using this one. Currently right now I'm using this one to chop up my bubble bars from Lush. So I chop them up on a little cutting board I have. And so is this. So this is, again, they're both soap cutters, but this one's a little bit sturdier, a little bit wider and more specific. It will fit cutting
some of these larger pieces. So that's why I'm going to be using this one today. So again, I just sort of wipe it down at the end with a paper towel and then just put it away, because it is after all just for wax. But this is really great. It's a great handle. You can use one hand, you can use two hands, however you choose. But again, a soap cutter is a really good idea to use. So we're going to start off with the Queen of Hearts from the Bathing Garden. I'm actually going to take this to the microwave. I'm going to experiment. I've never done one this size before. This is a lovely heart. I just flipped this over just now because I want to microwave both sides, but I want the top side to be up when I'm ready to cut. So I'm just going to put this upside down, a glitter away, and I'm going to take this whole thing, including the paper towel, into the microwave, and I'll let you know what I end up doing for time. So we're going to test out how this did. What I did is on the very first side, I did it for 10 seconds high in the microwave, and then I flipped it over back to this really sparkly side, and I did 15 seconds. It smells like rose jam. That's what it smells like from Lush. This always smells so good in the microwave. It makes the whole house smell amazing. So I figured while we chop this one up, we'll start answering questions that you guys have for me. The first question is, do you microwave your wax to chop? If yes, how long? It really does depend, like I say, on the actual melt. So again, this one, I've never ever had a melt quite like this one before. So it's very new to me as to like how I'm going to cut it up and all that stuff. So anyway, I've never even had this shape before. So I'm just going to cut these little pieces. Now I'm cutting them up to be about this size here because I have some warmers that are a little bit larger. And this will definitely be a scent that will go out throughout the house. This definitely is a rose jam dupe, you guys. I can totally smell rose jam. This little end piece is fairly small, so is that first end piece, and that one here is good. All these ones I'm going to cut in half. So that's that first piece there. And like, again, a part of that question as well, you asked top three vendors, top scent category. Well, scent category for me is definitely, well, it's tied between a gourmand, but not a sweet ooey gooey gourmand, but a gourmand and like a freshy scent, like a perfect bathroom scent, like laundry, anything mixed with laundry, I'd be totally game for. So that would be my jam. Funny enough, I'm cutting up rose jam. Anyway, you guys, that would be my favorite scent category. As far as top vendor, I don't actually have a top vendor, but I'll link a few different videos if I can. Maybe the playlist. I think I have a playlist for it. If I don't, oh dear. But I did a bunch of vendor 101s, which for me was able to break down to you guys. You can tell who I have the most from, who I don't have wax from, clearly, if I don't show it to you guys. But I do love probably about 6-7 vendors very, very much. But to make a top vendor, I can't. So you guys, we're all finished chopping this one. This is the Queen of Hearts from the Bathing Garden, and I got that last year, so I'm looking forward to melting this one. I'm gonna let this cool. I'm just gonna pull this whole, like that's why I like the paper towel. I'm gonna pull this whole paper towel, put it over to the other part of my counter, let it cool a little bit before I put it in the bag. Up next to chop, oh my gosh, my house is gonna smell absolutely delightful. This is Moon Spice Cookie from Destination Wax. Look at that luster on the top. This is a wonderful wax melt that my friend Ramona introduced me to, and I'm so glad she did, because now that I've chopped this one, when I'm off the low buy, I'm definitely gonna go in and order another loaf. I like having full loaves off to the side, not that I have many as you can see, but I love this one. It's such a great coffee. I use this one for the coffee on the weekends. So again, that's Moon Spice Cookie from Destination Wax. Highly recommend that one. So with loaves, I do like to start off microwaving with this side up and then flip it over halfway through and microwave it with this side down, or up, I guess. So that way, when it comes out of the microwave, it's actually upside down. I know that everybody has a different way of doing it, but that is the way I like to do it. I'm gonna start off with 15 seconds on this side and 15 seconds on the other side, and I'll come right back and we'll answer another question. Okay, so now we have this one. I did do 15 seconds on one side and 15 seconds on the other side for a total of 30 seconds for this loaf, but we'll see how it does when I cut it up. But the next question before I get cutting, how often do I change out my wax and how many warmers do I use? And also, who is my favorite vendor? When it comes to warmers, I actually have going all the time. I have 5 wax melters going at any given time. I have one small plug-in in the bathrooms. I have 2 bathrooms, so that's 2 right there. And then in the living room or the great room, I have 2 going. So that's a total of 4. And then of course in our bedroom, I have 1 going as well. as we do use that, obviously we use that space. So that would be the 5th one. And how often I change out my wax? Once a day. There was a time where I would do morning, and then I would also change it out in the afternoon, especially on weekends when I was home. But now I'm just like, I can't be bothered. I do have a lot of wax. I could easily do that, but I want to enjoy my wax. I want to enjoy it, the whole experience. So for me, I just change it out the one time. So here we go. Here we go. So here, I just do these little pieces. I'm going to see if I can, this will be a little sticky. So this is a great size piece for melting. So I'm just going to keep that as so. And I'm just going to, like what I did here is I just went down this way, and now I'm going to go across this way. And it is a little gooey, so you have to just take your time. Like I say, I push this through here. So I'll push this through here. And I know that as soon as I pull this up, it's going to all start sticking. So I'm just going to pull and push a little, put a little bit of pressure behind here. Let's see if I can do this on a different angle. And now I'm going to do the same for all of these. Every vendor's wax is ever so slightly different. So it kind of really depends on how the wax is, like how often or how long you would put all of these in the microwave. Okay, next question. When did I get interested in melting wax, and why do I prefer melting wax over burning candles? Great questions, you guys. Okay, so I love candles for many years before it got popular on YouTube. Then I did start seeing people reviewing, like some of the OGs reviewing candles, and I'm like, well, I have an opinion on that. And I have a lot of candles, and I do still buy a lot of candles. So you know what? I am going to start a channel because I have a lot to say. Like, I didn't necessarily always agree with the person who was reviewing. So I wanted to get my voice out there as well. So I started doing that, oh gosh, well, this channel started 2015, end of July. But I want to say that I was really interested in it and watched the videos for about a year and a half. Like, I got the guts to make my own video. And that's another thing, guys. If you enjoy something, if you love it, go for it. This is something that you love. It's going to be a hobby for you. Why not? If it becomes too much of work or effort, then rein back. I totally respect that too. I'm actually going to move this over to the side, and then we'll start the next one. The next loaf we're going to be talking about is Sweeney's Barbershop from Vintage Chic Scents. This is the loaf here. This is a wonderful scent, you guys. I had this in a Blossom bar as well, which is even more wax than this. So again, it's Sweeney's Barbershop from Vintage Chic Scents, or VCS. So I'm just going to take this to the microwave as so, flip it over. I'm going to do 15 on one side and 15 on the other side, and I'll be right back. All right, so now we're back with this one, the Sweeney's Barbershop from Vintage Chic Scents. So let's also start with some questions. So I was asked, where did I meet Nelson and when? Well, I met Nelson just after Remembrance Day of 2018. Not that long ago. So I met Nelson in 2018 on Vancouver Island, and we met over Match.com. My birthday, my 40th birthday, my mom sort of came over to me. She was super cute. She came over to me and she gave me, like, they were throwing me this amazing party. So first of all, that was more than generous. But my mom came over to me just kind of secretly. I don't even know if my dad knew. And then sort of she gave me some money, and I'm like, Mom, you don't have to give me money. And thank you. And she's like, well, this is specific money. This is money for you. Those online dating site thing. She'd done her research, and I guess, and she's like, she named one of the sites. We ended up meeting after I left the fire department. So I don't think I would have met Nelson or anybody good for me probably at the fire department, because it's a very stressful job. Well, and that was volunteer, it was paid on call, but it was a very stressful part of my life. I probably would not have allowed someone like good for me like Nelson in my life, to be perfectly honest with you. But I just left the fire department. Anyway, it was just after Remembrance Day, and we've been chatting on Match.com. That's where I actually found him, on that Match.com site. So we actually went out for dinner, and we hit it off really well. And then we actually, funny enough, so that was November, got engaged in April. And then I moved out all the way to Halifax, Nova Scotia, because his career was taking him here. So I put my career on hold in a sense. I left my job of 16 years, came with him out here to Halifax, Nova Scotia. And then fast forward to summer of 2020. Now, as we all know, lovely things have happened the last couple of years, but we did get married in the summer of 2020 at Peggy's Cove. It was a beautiful wedding. We loved it. We had 12 people there, which was the maximum our government would allow, even in an outdoor setting at that time. We were supposed to get married. We had a castle booked in Scotland, and we were supposed to be, my mom, my dad, his mom, his dad were supposed to be there, and that was it. So in fact, we actually more than doubled our guests numbers at our wedding and sort of reception here in Nova Scotia. So we did marry in summer of 2020. I'm just gonna take this one over to the side so it can cool. Before we get into this one, I'm just going to answer a couple more questions here. Do you have any children? I personally don't have any children of my own. I am 43 years old. I love children. I love other people's children more than I would probably, I'm sure I would love my own, but I love children, but I don't have any of my own. But yes, you guys were right. Someone said that they thought they'd heard myself talk about how Nelson has a child. He has a son named Cameron. He'll be 21 this year. So really he's an adult. So I kind of met Cameron at the latter stages of his high school years. But yeah, so Cameron is going to be 21 this year in 2022, and I don't have children of my own. So that was that question. Next up we have from Destination Wax. This is a beautiful vanilla lace. It's absolutely gorgeous. Again, look at that luster. Off to the microwave it goes. Okay, so here we are with the vanilla lace from Destination Wax. Now, one of the other questions I had, which I thought was very cool and very interesting, so someone's paying attention. They asked, would I take an ancestry DNA test to see how Scottish I am? So you've been listening. My grandmother, my mom's mom, came over from Scotland. She was a war bride, so she was married during World War II. My grandfather was from Saskatchewan here in Canada, and they met during the war, and she came all the way over to Halifax, Nova Scotia, actually to Pier 21, if you know, you know, not knowing anybody. Literally, a war was out, and she came out here to meet up with some of his family that were to meet her over here. So she came here married, newly married, doesn't know if her husband's gonna make it through the war, and she's about to meet people in a new land foreign to her that she doesn't even know. So kudos to my grandmother. So I can actually answer that question. I have taken an ancestry DNA test. I think it was My Heritage Ancestry or something. Anyway, I got it for Christmas from actually Nelson, or the first year we met, because I guess he probably got it knowing Nelson. He thinks he's Scottish. No, he's not Scottish, and has proved that he's not Scottish, but he's cheap like Scots, like a Scotsman. But anyway, so I think he bought like a whole bunch of them for a really good deal. So I got one for Christmas, as well as he got one for his brother, his parents, which, I mean, really, oh boy. But anyway, so he bought one for a whole bunch of people. So I took it, sent it away, and it really rang true. Everything my father had told me, my dad's side of my family is very much into hereditary, I don't know what that, ancestry, I guess. We have a Bible that dates back to King Henry VIII in our family, things like that. And they've kept track with the family tree for generations and generations. In fact, the Bible gets passed down to the firstborn male in each generation. So, or if that person doesn't want it, pass it down to somebody else, I would assume. So with that being said, I did take it, and my dad was absolutely correct, because his family on his mom's side was Scandinavian. His dad's side had a little bit of Italian. Of course, my grandmother came from Scotland, my mom's mom. When I got the test back the results back, the first person I let know of the results was my dad. I'm like, you were totally right. So within a couple point percentages or tenths of percentage, I am 48% Scandinavian, general. It just says all of Scandinavia, which makes sense because the next one says I'm about 47%, and this is where it breaks it down. I'm about 47% Irish, Welsh, and Scottish. Zero English whatsoever, but those three. And then I had just under 3%, whatever was left, being that I was Italian. And I'm like, Dad, wow, this is insane. Like, everything you said. And I told my sister too. I'm like, holy cow. And she's like, wow, Dad like nailed it. I'm like, yeah, it was completely true. So I have a lot of Scandinavian, which makes sense that I'm also Irish, Scottish, and Welsh, because they are the ones who invaded that area. The Scandinavians came over and took over everything. So, you know, of course, my grandmother being from Scotland, and then again, there's a small percentage. There's, I think, a great-great-grandmother who is from Italy. So that makes sense that I have just under 3% Italian, and I speak with my hands a lot. So there you go. So I'm going to take this one over to cool down. As you guys can see, this is just a partial of this candle. This is the coconut cream pie that I've literally had in the freezer since summer. Again, If you watch one of those other videos, I'll show you what I do with the freezer method. They literally pop out. It doesn't matter if they're partial or a whole candle, which we'll discuss in a few moments. It pops right out, but then anyway, watch one of those videos. It'll tell you what I do to wait a little bit of time before I attempt to take these little metal wick clips out. So there are 3 wick clips here. This is my crappy old knife that I do use just for wax. And so here, just very carefully, you want to just sort of gingerly pull these out. Just wiggle them out first, enough so you can get your finger in there, because now it pops right out. So it doesn't matter how long that wick is, it'll pop right out. I'm just gonna put that on the wax paper. So you do that for all 3. So while we do this, I'm going to, oopsie, that's fine. A little piece of that came apart. So I'm gonna answer another question. What does Nelson think of my wax? Well, first of all, if you aren't familiar, first of all, we have a channel up for ourselves, like a separate channel, and it's all about adventure. And let me just say it this way, Nelson doesn't have a great nose. He works in on the submarines in the Canadian military, the Canadian Navy, and has been on the submarines for coming up 18 years, and overall in the military, in the Navy for coming on 28 years. So his nose is shot. I'm just going to microwave this. I'll let you know how many seconds on each side, and then we'll come back to the rest of this question. So next question is, what does Nelson think of my wax? So basically, he's been in the Canadian Navy for coming on 28 years. Oops, sorry, it's gonna be a little louder. Coming on 28 years, and basically, and just so you guys know, I forgot to mention, I did 15 seconds and I flipped it every piece over and did 15 seconds. Just cut them into the sizes that you wish. So yes, he's been in the Canadian Navy for 28 years and has been in the submarine section for 18 years, or this will be his 18th year. So he has really no nose. He can't really smell very well. I mean, when he can smell, you know, like it's a strong fragrance, because if you can smell it, you're like, okay, yep, this one's strong. Because diesel, our submarines are diesel run. So yeah, he doesn't really have the greatest nose. Now, what does he think of my, I guess I'll say, collection, not addiction here. We don't say that word in terms of wax. He thinks it's a bit crazy, but he knows I love it. So he lets me do it. He knows it brings me joy to have this channel and to be talking to you guys. Oops, there we go. So that is that candle. That did not take very long. So again, that is the coconut cream pie from Bath & Body Works. That, as if you guys can see here, it looks a little darker on this side than this side, and that's because it started turning puny wick on me. That's why I blew this out, and I wanted to save the coconut scent. So that's why. So frustrating. But yes, so he is neither here nor there, except he knows it brings me joy. I had this channel before I met him. He knew of all of this before. He could have run away, but he didn't. So I guess that's a good thing. So here we're going to talk about this candle here. This is a full candle. I did purchase this not long ago in the semi-annual sale. The Pure Wonder candle. So this one here, it is described as iced rosé, star jasmine, crystal amber. It's very much a perfumey scent that I think will go really nice in the bedroom. But we've got this full candle here, and we're going to take the wick clips out first, and then we will dig into this. So I'm just going to fast forward this part here. This one is being a silly bugger. It doesn't want to come out. There we go. This one's gonna be a little bit more messy. It is a full-sized candle as well. So I am going to probably microwave this for a little bit longer. So stand by, I'll be right back. But of course, those are the wicks and wick clips that I did pull out from this one. So just so you guys know, I did decide to melt it 20 seconds on one side. I know it's fallen apart. Which is totally fine. It's going to be pieces anyway. And then I flipped everything over and did 10 or 15 seconds again. So next question I have, how do I cure my wax? Storage and time. And how long would a typical loaf take to go through, and do I use it in a specific time span? So clearly I don't use it in a specific time span because we've seen some loaves already. I'm just gonna put these off to the side. This is kind of like why I like the wax paper off to the side, and then work and concentrate on one piece at a time. As far as loaves, I use them when I want to use them. All the vendors that I enjoy melting from, they have stuff that will last a very long time. As far as curing time goes, some vendors, for some, it's all really subjective, you guys. It's really, really subjective. So for some vendors and certain people and how they like to cure their wax, it's certain vendors are maybe a month or two. By the time I get most of my wax, because I'm Canadian and it has to come all the way from the States, it's pretty cured, because likely it's been at least a month since I ordered it, and then probably 2 months since pour time. But because I have such a collection, I feel like I can go a long time. You know, sometimes like that moon spice cookie that we talked about earlier, that loaf, I've had it for a year. It will be absolutely beautiful. Now, there's obviously some people think like, some feel that vintage chic scents needs to be cured a long time. I don't really think it needs too long of a time, but again, it's very subjective too. You just have to try it. You have to melt it in your home. You have to try your different warmers in your different rooms. Is there air conditioning going? Is there heating going on in your house? Just different things like that. And also the wattage of the melters that you're using. Things like that is going to really make a difference on whether or not you need more or less cure time, or none at all maybe. So that was these are really good questions, you guys. And I believe this person also asked me about storage in the sense of like, do you leave your wax open in the little Ziploc baggies that comes in the polypropylene bags? I would not. I would not store my wax in those little polypropylene bags that comes in with the bag open. Seal it up, put it away if that's what you choose to do. Take it out when you're ready. I do know that from my personal experience, Super Tarts, after about a year, now the scents are amazing and they never fail me. They do not lose their scent at all, but the little clamshells that you get when you order, and I've held on, you know, I have such a collection, sometimes it is a year or maybe a year and a half before I use a specific scent. The clamshell gets really mushy on the bottom. That's just the oils. And really, and at least with Super Tarts, I don't have an issue with the throw, even though it's older and I can feel the clams getting mushy. Some people may find that to be the opposite, but for me, I think that they're like some of the strongest wax. Expensive, yes, but you get what you pay for. So I would still store it in the polypropylene bags, not just a regular Ziploc bag. It's a totally different, it's like poly number 5 or something. So you can get them online. I think on Amazon you can get them, but make sure it's like, I think it's poly number 5. Let me know for all my other waxies out there if it's 5 or 7, but I want to say it's 5. But yeah, they're really good. Plus, if you want a bag, like these ones here, are likely going to go into a bakery bag. The bakery bags I purchase online from L3 Waxy Wonders. That's L, that's 3, and then Waxy Wonders. And they have these wax-lined bakery bags. Wax-lined is key here because, again, the wax and the oils can seep through just a regular bag. When it comes to the candles, I'm not too picky about the sizes and like what I get. Whew. So we have one more question left, you guys. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, that one's perfectly split. Okay, so, oh, and also how long does it take for me to get through a loaf? Well, it depends. If I just want to use it until it's gone, it could take me a month and a half. But if I only just want to use it for a couple days and put it away and then bring it out again and put it away, like it could last 2 years. The very last question is about our friend Ramona. Ramona, so the question was, do I see Ramona more often now, and how close are we in distance? And and if I've heard of the raccoon whisperer, Google that, raccoon whisperer. So first of all, do I see Ramona more often now? Well, obviously, yes, because she was in Texas, but really it's winter here in Nova Scotia, and with all the storms that we get, we don't go too far on weekends, you know, generally and lately, and we're supposed to get another storm tonight. So lately it seems that we get really big snowstorms, during the weekend. So long story short is I haven't seen her much. I went to see her before Christmas. I want to say November or early December. So I stayed with her there. Also Patricia, she's my dentist now. So Patricia, NosetoToes, she's my dentist, but also I have seen her a little bit here and there, but with COVID still here in Canada and where we are in the Atlantic, there's still major regulations in place. And you know, I respect people wanting to be safe, as safe that they need for themselves and for others. So how close are we in distance? Well, Ramona is about a 50-minute drive on the highway from here. So it's not that far. And you guys gotta Google this, the raccoon whisperer. It's so true. There is a guy, it's a sad story really, but there is a man here in Nova Scotia, a little bit further away from where I am, he's called the Raccoon Whisperer. And the reason why he's called the Raccoon Whisperer is because on a daily, he has probably 15 raccoons that come to him and he feeds them hot dog, wieners, and like all sorts of things, and people donate to him. The story, just the gist of it is he was doing this, just started doing this. I think his wife was doing this before she passed away. I believe it was of cancer. And when she passed, this man's an ex-RCMP officer as well. And when she passed, he took this on and it blew up. So he thought, I'll start filming what's happening on a daily, so everyone else can see what he has to deal with. But the raccoons are like his buddy and vice versa. And so he's kind of continuing his wife's legacy of feeding these raccoons, and the raccoons have brought their babies, and the babies have brought their babies, and it's a lot. And he gets a lot of people that watch his YouTube channel, and all the money he raises on that channel he goes to get the food, the biscuits, or the hot dog wieners for these raccoons. So that is all about the Raccoon Whisperer, but if you want more detail, definitely Google that.
Okay guys, thank you so much. I know it was a bit of a long video, but I wanted to share with you guys how I chop my candles that I've decided to chop up, how I chop up my loaves and all right, you guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I know this was a longer video, but it was much requested. And so I hope that I was able to help you guys out. If there's any questions you may have down below, definitely ask them down below about how to chop. But I will have, through the whole course of this video, popped up different playlists or chopping videos I've done in the past as well. So if you're looking to know where I get the bags from, all that fun stuff, check out those other videos as well. So if Wax Wednesdays are your kind of video, definitely, if you haven't already, subscribe down below. Like this video if you enjoyed it, give it some thumbs up action. And as always, you guys, be safe, take care, and have fun. Bye, guys.